Yes, miss.
Okay, tell me, what did Mr. Fogg, Mrs. Oda, Passepartout, and Fix discover when they reached to New York? What did they discover? Hello?
Hello.
Okay, what did they discover? Hmm? What about the ship to New York, to Liverpool? Did they catch the ship or not? Or the ship sailed without them?
Left from them.
I can't hear you.
لسه مش فاهم تقولي يعني chapter ايه بالظبط؟ chapter 6.
Again?
chapter 6 صح؟
We start chapter 6, but this question about chapter 5. Yeah, they discovered that the ship from China to Liverpool sailed without them. Right?
Miss أنا
Okay,
لسه
yes, let's start chapter 6.
أنا الصوت عندي كله مش واضح. الصوت عندي كله مش واضح.
حاول نظبطه إن شاء الله. Okay, chapter 6, across the Atlantic to England. Okay, let's read the chapter first and answer the question. In New York Harbor, Fogg looked at today for a new ship to take him to Liverpool, but he couldn't find one. Late that evening, he spoke to Mrs. Oda, Passepartout, and Fix. Okay, after Mr. Fogg reached to New York, he want to return back to Liverpool, but the ship sailed without them. Okay, they spent their night at Huddle, and tomorrow they will return back to the harbor to find the ship, take them to Liverpool. Okay, let's spend the night at the Huddle. He said, we can come back here tomorrow. So they took a carriage to an expensive hotel in New York City for the night. The next morning, Fogg woke up early. He left the others. Who are the others?
What?
The others that they were with Mr. Fogg. Mrs. Oda, Passepartout, and Mr. Fix. He left them at the hotel and hurried back down to the harbor. At 7 o'clock, he spoke to a man on a small ship there, the Hernida. So what is the name of the ship?
Hernida.
Yes. Yes. I'm Phyllis Fogg of London. I want to go Liverpool. Where are you going? I'm Andrew Spitty of Cardiff. And we were going to south of France. So Henrietta, where is the destination of Henrietta? They are going to south of France. Okay. Is it going to Liverpool like Mr. Fogg wants? Is this ship going to Liverpool like Mr. Fogg wants, or going to south of France?
South of France.
Yes, Henrietta was going to south of France. Okay. Will you take me to Liverpool? No, I won't. We're going to the south of France. Who's your captain? Can I speak with him? I'm the captain of Henrietta, said Speedy. So what is the name of the captain of the ship?
Speedy.
Yes, Mr. Speedy, yes. Yes. Then can I speak with your ship's owner? Maybe he will agree to take me to Liverpool. I'm the owner of Henrietta too. So Mr. Speedy is the captain and the owner of the ship. Mr. Speedy is the captain and the owner of the ship of the Henrietta that was going to France. I see, said Fogg. Look, Captain Speedy, if you agree to take me to Liverpool, I'll pay you well. Money doesn't interest me, said Speedy. Then I will buy your ship from you and pay you to sail it to Liverpool. So what is the plan of Mr. Fogg that when Mr. Speedy refused to take him to Liverpool? What's his plan? Okay, he want to buy the ship from him and pay to sail it to Liverpool. Okay? No, you won't. I'm going to south of France. Fogg looked at him with interest and then said, very well, you will take me and my 3 friends to south of France. So Mr. Fogg, after Mr. Speed refused to take him to Liverpool, he offered that he will buy the ship and pay him money well and make him take him to Liverpool. When Mr. Speedy refused his offer, Mr. Fogg told him that, okay, we will go with you to France. Okay, how much you will pay? Asked Speedy. 2,000 for every one of you? Yes, 8,000 in all. What you say? Asked Fogg. Captain Speedy thought for a minute. 8,000 was a lot of money for 4 passengers, and he didn't have to change his plans at all. All right, he said, I will. When do you sail? At 9 o'clock. Okay, very well, I'll go for my friends at once, said Fogg, and he hurried back to his huddle to tell them all the good news. So at 9 o'clock and 12th December, Fogg and Mrs. Oda, Passepartout, and Fix left New York on the Henrietta. So what is the name of the ship that Passepartout left from New York?
Henrietta.
Yes, Henrietta. Later, when they were at sea, Fogg talked to the sailors on Henrietta. They didn't like Captain Speedy very much because he was a hard man. So did the sailors on the ship like Mr. Speedy? Did they like him? Did they like Mr. Speedy?
No, they didn't.
No, they
they
didn't. Why? Because he was very hard. So what will happen with Mr. Fogg, and what will Mr. Fogg do with the sailor against Mr. Speedy? Okay, so Fogg gave them all some money and explained that he needed to go to Liverpool, not France. So Mr. Fogg, when he knew that the sailors of the Henrietta didn't like Mr. Speedy because he was hard, Mr. Fogg had a plan. What did he do? He went to the sailors and tell them that he needs to go to Liverpool, not in France. Okay? The sailor all agreed to take him there. So Mr. Fogg went to the sailors and tell them that he went to Liverpool, not France. And the sailor agreed to take him. Why? Because they didn't like Captain Speedy, and they want to do anything against him. The sailors all agreed to take him there because the captain didn't agree. The sailors took him, put him in his cabin, and locked the door behind him. So what did the sailor do with Mr. Speedy? The sailors took him
put him in a cabin and locked the door behind him.
Door behind him. This is a chance. Yes, because they didn't like him. He shouted at them from inside his cabin, but could he do nothing? Stop them. Okay. 4 days later, the Henrietta was crossing the Atlantic. I'm going to be late, cried Fogg. We must go faster. We can't, cried the sailors. There is no more coal. Then bring the captain to me. Okay. The sailors brought Captain Speedy to him at once. So the sailors went to the cabin and take Mr. Speedy and brought him to Mr. Fogg. You criminal, what are we now? Cried the captain, looking angrily at Mr. Fogg. This is the captain? He's looking angrily at Mr. Fogg. Some days from Liverpool. What? Why, you? Be quiet. Listen, I won't buy your ship, said Fogg, or at least all the wooden things in it. I want to burn them. You have got no more coal, but we can burn wood in its place. You want to burn the Henrietta? Yes. So how much do you want for your ship? Well, I paid 25,000 for her. I will give you 30,000. Do you agree? What about all the metal? Oh, you can't keep that. I'm not interested in the metal. Only the wood. Do you agree? I agree, said Speedy. So what did Mr. Fogg do with Mr. Speedy? Okay, Mr. Fogg. Yes, Mr. Fogg. He wants to burn wood on Henrietta because there is no more coal to take them to Liverpool. So he starts to burn the wood on Henrietta. Okay, have you understand?
Yeah.
Have you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So the sailors burned all the tables, the chairs, the doors, and the wooden boards from the floor. 4 days after that, the Henrietta